The alien fleet arrived without warning. Across deep space, thousands of warships appeared at once, their engines glowing like burning stars. They surrounded a single human ship drifting near a dead moon. Compared to the fleet, the human vessel looked small, slow, and old. The alien commander watched the screen and smiled. "One ship," he said calmly. "No escorts. No weapons charged." The fleet activated open channels. Across the galaxy, millions of worlds tuned in. Everyone wanted to see how humanity would fall. The human ship did not move. No shields. No weapons. No signal. The silence made the aliens laugh. "They are afraid," an officer said. "They know they cannot win." Finally, a signal came from the human ship. Just one voice. No emotion. "We are ready." The commander leaned forward. "Ready to surrender," he replied. There was no answer. Inside the human ship, the crew stood quietly at their stations. No panic. No shouting. The captain looked at a small timer on his console. It had already begun counting down. Outside, the alien fleet moved closer. They wanted to show power. They wanted fear. But something felt wrong. Alien sensors began to flicker. Space itself seemed to bend. Just for a moment. Then it was normal again. The commander frowned. "What was that?" he asked. No one answered. Because at that moment, the human ship changed. And the galaxy was about to learn a terrible truth. The alien fleet closed in slowly, like hunters circling wounded prey. They could destroy the human ship in seconds. But they waited. This was not about speed. This was about making a point. Humanity had expanded too far, watched too much, and asked too many questions. Now they would be taught fear. "Human vessel," the commander said over open channel. "Lower all systems and prepare to be boarded." The human ship did something unexpected. Its shields dropped completely. Several alien officers laughed. "They gave up," one said. "Smart, but too late." The commander nodded. "Bring the flagship closer. I want a clear view." The massive warship moved forward. Distance between them vanished quickly. The human ship still did nothing. Inside, the human captain remained calm. He did not look at the alien fleet. He looked at his crew. "Stay focused," he said. "No mistakes." A young officer hesitated. "Sir, they think we are weak." The captain allowed a small smile. "Let them." The timer reached 0. Suddenly, space twisted. Not violently. Not loudly. Just enough to confuse every alien sensor at once. Navigation systems failed. Target locks broke. Communication lines filled with noise. "What is happening?" the commander shouted. Before anyone could answer, several alien ships lost control. They drifted, collided, and spun helplessly. Engines shut down without command. Weapon systems went dark. "This is impossible," an officer whispered. "They are not firing anything." The human ship still did not attack. Instead, it moved. Not forward. Not backward. It phased. For a brief second, the ship seemed to exist in two places at once. Then it reappeared behind the alien flagship. The bridge fell silent. "How did they do that?" the commander demanded. No one knew. A human signal appeared on all screens. Clear. Calm. Unshaken. "This encounter is now under human control," the voice said. "Do not resist." The commander slammed his fist down. "Fire everything." Nothing happened. Their weapons refused to respond. Across the fleet, panic spread. Ships drifted without power. Command AIs shut down one by one, as if erased. The human ship moved again, slow and deliberate, like it had all the time in the universe. Inside, the human captain watched the fleet collapse. He felt no joy, no anger. This was not revenge. This was procedure. "Phase 1 complete," he said quietly. The young officer looked at the screens, filled with disabled enemy ships. "Sir, this was supposed to be a surrender." The captain nodded. That's what they needed to believe. Outside, the alien commander stared at the destruction around him. His empire's strongest fleet was falling apart without a single human weapon fired. His voice shook as he whispered, "We misjudged them." He was right. Humanity had never been weak. They had only been waiting. The alien fleet moved closer. From the command bridge of the Empire flagship, Admiral Korth watched the human ship grow larger on the main screen. It was still alone. No escorts. No weapons charging. No escape attempt. The Admiral allowed himself a cold smile. "They have accepted their fate," he said. "Humans always break when they are cornered." Around him, alien officers nodded. Some even laughed. This battle was already being recorded and sent across the Empire as proof of dominance. The human ship looked weak now. Its energy shields were completely down. Its weapons ports were closed. It drifted slowly, almost helpless. "Open all scanners," Korth ordered. "I want full control before we board." Sensors locked onto the ship. And then, something strange happened. The scanners flickered. "Report," the Admiral said sharply. "Minor interference," an officer replied. "Probably damaged systems on the human ship." The fleet moved closer. Too close. On the human ship, Captain Elias Rook stood without speaking. His hands were behind his back. His face showed no fear, no anger, only focus. Around him, the crew waited in silence. A soft sound echoed through the bridge. Tick. A timer reached 0. "Phase 1, Rook said calmly. At that exact moment, space itself twisted. Alien ships suddenly lost formation. Navigation systems failed all at once. Communication channels filled with noise and static. "What is happening?" Admiral Korth shouted. The stars outside the windows bent, as if reality was breathing. "This is impossible," an officer cried. "There is no weapon fire." The human ship did not attack. It did not move. Instead, the space around it changed. Energy readings spiked across the alien fleet. Their reactors began to overload, not from damage, but from confusion. Power systems no longer knew where they were. "Pull back," Korth ordered. "All ships retreat now." No one moved. Engines refused commands. The fleet was stuck. The human ship's hull began to glow, not with light, but with darkness. It absorbed energy instead of releasing it. Alien sensors could not track it anymore. "It's not a ship," an officer whispered. "It's an anchor." Back on the human bridge, Captain Rook finally turned toward his crew. "They followed us exactly as expected," he said. A crew member checked the display. Enemy fleet fully inside the field. Rook nodded once. "Good." The Empire had believed the human ship was weak because it stood alone. They never considered that it was meant to be alone. The distortion field expanded quietly. No explosion. No sound. Just pressure. Alien ships began drifting into each other. Some crashed. Others spun helplessly as time delays hit their control systems. Orders arrived seconds too late. Then minutes. The Empire fleet was fighting space itself. "Admiral!" an officer screamed on the flagship. "We are losing control of time markers. Our commands are arriving out of order." Korth's eyes widened. "This is a trap," he said slowly. "They wanted us here." Fear spread through the bridge. The human ship sent a single message, direct and clear. "Do not resist." That message reached every alien ship at the same time. The Empire fired anyway. Weapons discharged, but missed. Every shot bent away, pulled into nothing. Energy vanished before impact. "They are not blocking us," an officer said in horror. "They are removing the space between us." Admiral Korth fell silent. For the first time in his long career, he understood. Humans did not fight with strength. They fought with certainty. On the human bridge, Captain Rook watched the fleet collapse into confusion. "No emotion," he reminded his crew. "This is not revenge. This is correction." A junior officer hesitated. "Sir, should we stop?" Rook looked at the screen, at the broken enemy formation. "They came to erase us," he said. "We are only showing them the cost." Outside, the Empire fleet was no longer a fleet. It was a mistake, frozen in space. And deep inside the Galactic Council chambers, emergency alarms began to sound. Something had gone very wrong. The alien fleet was breaking apart, but not in fire. That was the most frightening part. The Empire's commanders watched their screens in confusion. Their ships were still there. Hulls intact. Weapons loaded. Crews alive. Yet nothing worked the way it should. Commands were sent. No response. Engines were activated. No movement. Weapons were charged. Energy vanished. Across the battlefield, massive warships drifted like empty shells. Some slowly collided with each other. Others spun in silence, unable to stop. The alien commander stood frozen. "This is not a weapon," he said quietly. "This is something else." Inside the human ship, the crew remained calm. Captain Elias stood with his hands behind his back. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. His eyes stayed on the tactical display, watching the enemy fleet fade into useless shapes. "Status?" he asked. "Their command network is collapsing," the human officer replied. "They cannot share data. They cannot think together." Another officer added, "Their power systems are still running, but they can't control them." The captain nodded. "Continue," he said. The aliens still did not understand what was happening. They searched for missiles. They searched for hidden ships. They searched for energy spikes. There were none. What the humans had activated did not destroy ships. It destroyed connection. For thousands of years, the Galactic Empire had depended on one thing more than weapons: unity. Every ship, every soldier, every AI system was linked into a single command mind. Fast, efficient, perfect. And humans had studied it. Not for years. For centuries. Long before this battle, humans had learned a simple truth. The strongest empires do not fall when they lose ships. They fall when they lose control. The human weapon did not attack metal. It attacked decision. A silent field spread across space, invisible and untouchable. Inside it, time signals slipped out of alignment. Data arrived too late. Orders contradicted each other. AI systems argued with themselves. The Empire's greatest strength became its weakness. On the alien flagship, alarms began to sound, but each alarm gave a different warning. Engine failure. No, engine overload. No, external interference. No, internal error. The crew shouted over each other. "What do we do?" one officer screamed. The commander tried to answer, but his words never reached the ship systems. His voice had authority, but authority no longer mattered. Nearby, two destroyers crashed together. Not by accident. Their navigation systems each believed the other was somewhere else. Another ship fired its weapons at empty space, while its own shield shut down. Fear spread faster than fire. "This is impossible," an alien officer whispered. "No species can do this. But humans could. Because they never rushed. Humanity never attacked first. They watched. They listened. They waited. Every invasion attempt against Earth had failed quietly. Not with grand battles, but with strange accidents. Lost fleets. Broken alliances. Confused enemies. The galaxy never noticed. Now it was noticing. Inside the human ship, a countdown reached 0. "Phase 2 complete," the officer said. The captain turned slightly. "Begin reveal," he said. For the first time since the battle began, the human ship transmitted a signal. Not a threat. Not a demand. Just information. The signal reached every alien ship that could still receive data. On their screens appeared human symbols. Simple, clean, calm. Then words translated into the alien language. "You are not under attack. Your systems are being isolated. This condition is permanent." The alien commander stared at the message. "Permanent. This means," he said slowly, "we can never fight again." His officer looked at him in horror. "They didn't come to win," the officer said. "They came to end us." The commander closed his eyes. "No," he whispered. "They came to stop us." Outside, the battlefield went silent. No explosions. No final shots. Just the sound of an empire losing its future. And far away, hidden beyond sensors and stars, something else awakened. The Galactic Council had been watching, and now they were afraid. Far away from the battlefield, light years across space, the Galactic Council chamber was alive with noise. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in a massive circular hall. Tall species, small species, old empires and young civilizations. They had gathered for one reason only: the human incident. A giant hologram floated in the center of the chamber. It showed the remains of the Imperial fleet. Broken ships, frozen explosions, empty space where thousands of war vessels once existed. No one spoke at first. Then one council member whispered, "This was their strongest fleet." Another replied, his voice shaking, "It was erased in minutes." The Galactic Empire had ruled through fear for centuries. Their fleets crushed planets. Their commands ended wars before they began. Yet now, their power was gone, destroyed by one human ship. A council analyst stepped forward. His screen showed data scrolling fast. The human weapon was not a bomb, he said. It did not target hulls first. It targeted control, energy, and coordination. The room grew colder. "They didn't fight the fleet," another council member said slowly. "They turned it off." Many leaders began to understand something terrifying. Humans had not attacked in anger. They had acted with control. A signal suddenly entered the chamber. The council guards reacted, weapons ready. The lights dimmed as a new hologram appeared. A human symbol. Not a threat. Not a warning sound. Just a calm, steady signal. One council elder spoke carefully. "Humans are contacting us. Directly." The signal did not play a message yet. It simply stayed there, waiting. Silence filled the chamber. Then a council member asked the question everyone feared. "If one ship can do this, how many do they have?" No one answered, because deep down they already knew. The Galactic Council was not watching a battle anymore. They were watching the end of fear-based rule, and the beginning of something far more dangerous. A species that did not seek power, but could remove it completely. The battlefield was no longer a battlefield. Where the Imperial fleet once filled space, now there was only silence, broken ships, and drifting lights. Thousands of alien vessels floated without power. Their weapons were dead. Their engines were quiet. Their command network no longer existed. Inside the last active Imperial command ship, the alien commander stared at the dark screens. Nothing worked. No fleet control. No defense grid. No emergency jump. For the first time in his long career, the commander felt true fear. Then, one screen turned on by itself. A human signal appeared. It was not loud. It was not aggressive. There was no dramatic music, no threats, no anger. Just a calm human voice. "This message is for the Galactic Empire." The commander listened. Frozen. "You believed humanity would surrender. You believed one ship meant weakness. You were wrong." Around the galaxy, the same message appeared. On trade stations. On council worlds. On hidden military bases. Every major power was watching. "We do not seek conquest," the voice continued. "We do not take worlds. We do not rule others." The Imperial commander slammed his claw onto the console. "Lies," he whispered. But the voice did not stop. "We observe. We learn. And when a threat becomes unavoidable, we erase it." At that moment, Imperial archives began to disappear. Entire star maps vanished. War records collapsed. Command AIs shut down permanently. The Empire's history was being deleted, not destroyed, but removed, as if it had never mattered. On the command ship, officers shouted in panic. "Our data is gone. Our fleets are offline. Our colonies are not responding." The commander understood the truth. This was not an attack. This was an ending. The human voice spoke one final time. "Let this stand as a warning to all. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity does not invade first. But when forced, we finish what we start." The signal ended. Across the galaxy, governments went silent. Military leaders felt cold fear. The Galactic Council, watching in real time, realized something terrifying. An empire had not been defeated. It had been switched off. The surviving Imperial commander looked out into space at the powerless remains of his fleet. His voice was barely a whisper. "We didn't lose a war," he said. "We challenged the wrong species." Far away, the human ship turned slowly, engines warming. The message had been delivered. The Empire was finished. The galaxy did not sleep after the fall of the Empire. Trade routes stayed open, planets stayed quiet, but fear moved faster than any ship. Everyone kept asking the same question. Why did humans never surrender? On Earth, inside a deep archive station hidden under mountains and oceans, the truth was recorded. No aliens were allowed there. No flags. No weapons on display. Only memory. Long before the Empire attacked, humans had already been tested. They had faced disasters, wars, plagues, and near extinction. Each time, humans learned the same lesson. Survival does not belong to the loud. It belongs to the prepared. Human leaders never believed in showing power early. They believed in patience. When the first alien scouts appeared near Earth centuries ago, humans did not fire. They watched. They listened. They learned how alien empires thought. They learned something important. Most empires only respected strength they could see. Humans decided to become dangerous in a way no one could detect. They built no giant fleets on borders. They sent no threats. They allowed others to think Earth was weak, divided, and slow. That was the shield. Human technology did not focus on bigger guns. It focused on control, energy flow, command chains, and time-based reactions. Humans learned how to end wars without long battles. One human commander once said, "If we ever fight openly, we have already failed." That rule became law. Back in space, the Galactic Council studied the remains of the destroyed Empire fleet. There were no massive explosions recorded. No final heroic stand. The ship simply stopped working. One by one. Like lights being turned off. Council analysts were confused. "Where are the human war fleets?" one asked. Another replied quietly, "There are none. At least none we can see." That scared them more than weapons. The human ship from the battle was gone. No chase. No message. It had completed its task and left. To humans, the mission was not victory. It was correction. The Council finally understood. Humans never surrender because they never enter battles they might lose. They only act when the outcome is already decided. And if humans ever appeared weak again, it was not a mistake. It was a warning still loading. The battle was over. But the galaxy did not celebrate. Broken alien ships floated silently in space. There were no explosions now, no alarms, no voices. Only wreckage and fear remained. The great empire that once ruled thousands of systems was gone in a single day. The human ship was still there. It did not chase the survivors. It did not fire again. It did not speak. Inside the ship, the human crew moved calmly. No one cheered. No one smiled. They watched their screens, confirming one thing only: the threat was finished. The captain stood near the command window. Stars reflected on the glass. His voice was quiet. "It's done." An officer asked, "Orders, sir." The captain paused for a moment. Then he said, "Prepare to leave." That was all. Far away, inside the Galactic Council chamber, panic filled the room. The council members stared at the last images from the battlefield. The Empire's fleet, destroyed. Their leaders, silent. Their power, erased. One council member finally spoke. "So this is humanity." Another replied, fear shaking his voice. "They did not conquer. They did not demand control." A third whispered, "They judged and ended it." No one argued. The council understood something important now. Humanity did not act with anger. They acted with decision. Once that decision was made, there was no escape. Across the galaxy, survivors of the fallen empire sent desperate signals. They begged. They blamed their leaders. They promised peace. No human ship answered. No message came. That silence was worse than any threat. Because the galaxy knew, if humans had wanted more, they would have taken it already. The human ship began to move. Its engines glowed softly as space folded around it. Before leaving, the ship sent one final broadcast. It was not aimed at one world. It was sent to everyone. The message was short, calm, clear. Earth is not a target. Humanity seeks no rule. But we will protect our future. That was all. The signal ended. The ship vanished into deep space. Days passed. Then weeks. The galaxy slowly changed. Trade routes shifted. Old alliances broke. New laws were written. One law spread faster than all others. Never threaten Earth. Never test humanity. It was not written by humans. It was written by fear. On distant worlds, parents told their children stories. Not of monsters. Not of gods. But of humans. A species that looked weak. A species that stayed silent. A species that ended an empire with one ship. They did not shout. They did not warn twice. They simply acted. Back on Earth, life continued as normal. Cities lived. People worked. Children looked at the stars without knowing what had been done for them. Humanity did not build statues. They did not announce victory. They returned to watching, waiting, learning. Because humanity had one rule above all others. Peace is preferred. But survival is final. And the galaxy would never forget the day it learned that lesson. The hard way.